Sophie here with a Sims 4 PS4 build. Today, we're going to do part 3 of the retail center, which is basically the bookshop. But before we get into the bookshop, I was just playing around with some exterior details. I've got really into using these pillars in builds now, just to give it more definition and interest, and it kind of mimics architectural details in real builds. So here I'm starting on the window display for the bookshop. I really liked having little arched curved windows, and I chose like a brown color very typically because it feels quite bookish. I wanted the overall kind of feeling of the shop to be very cozy and small and welcoming, like an independent bookshop that has a lot of care and attention from its owners. The window display was like the first kind of thing that excited me about building this. I wanted to make two little display pieces that were different from each other, and that felt very exciting and interesting, I guess. So I started on the kids one first because I just knew what props to use for it, so using toys from the kids section on the build mode, and making this kind of grassland foresty area as if it's like the part of the book that they're promoting at the time or something. So I didn't want it to look too neat. I wanted it to feel very kind of full and messy and just fun. These toys were just giving me so much grief trying to place them without them being hovering, but I just couldn't fix it in the end. So as long as you don't look at it up close, it's pretty much fine. So then I move on to trying to do the walls, because I couldn't figure out what to put in the other display just yet. For the walls, I chose a mix of wood and blue. I just didn't want the whole place to feel too dark, and honestly I just couldn't even remember what bookstores generally even look like. I just never paid attention to the walls, probably because there's bookcases lining it usually. And I chose these counters to be placed right by the door to make it feel quite welcoming and friendly, and it was partly inspired by the shop around the corner from You've Got Mail. I just like the feeling of that bookshop is really great and cozy. So yeah, I was trying to not over clutter the space too much, and not make it look too dark, but I knew, like, you know, that kind of woody and cozy feel that's full of books was important. So I tried to pick some bookcases that felt very simple and classic, that don't draw too much attention to themselves. What I really like about this room is the way that the middle bookcases in the center are a little bit smaller than the bookcases on the side, so you have a lot of depth and height difference, and it doesn't make the space feel really claustrophobic because you can kind of see space above the counters and the bookcases if you were in reality. And then I just threw in a comic book or magazine rack just to make it feel very inclusive, like you could find anything that you needed in there. Back at it again with the rugs. I do a little kids corner here, just because I think that's like a really great thing to have in a bookstore. And then I moved on to just choosing some seating in general for the store itself, so you could sit down and have a drink and have a read, grab a drink next door, you know. I tried not, I wasn't sure what seats to get originally because I didn't want it to feel too grand or expensive. Um, and so I chose something a bit classic but welcoming. And then doing the kids' corner was just really fun and exciting. I thought there could be a spot where kids could come and read, or they could be read to by like a guest reader or something, or just even sit and play with the toys around the store. So the design of it was kind of just colourful and fun, which compares to the very woody feel of the overall bookstore itself. So I'm starting here on the second display. I originally put a tree in there, partly because of the film I'd watched, but it also fit with the kind of aesthetic that happens in the end. I didn't choose it in the end because it just felt a bit too Christmassy. And obviously the displays will change year round. It was really hard to pick something for this window that felt more like an adult kind of display. So I just found these props that kind of all fit together and made it look like an adventure book that's being promoted, something like that. But you know, if you guys don't agree or you have suggestions of what you would put in a window display, just let me know. So the desk area, I wanted it to feel quite cluttered and very sort of independent, not clean or corporate. So the bookcase area at the back is full of old books, books on hold. The records, they're like files at the bottom of their financial records, for example, just to feel very independent and small businessy. I think the whole feeling of the shop feels, or it felt at this point, quite natural. There was a lot of tree and nature motifs, so I thought the desk area could fit that feeling as well. So I put in these autumn leaves, um, what they call garlands, which could obviously change year round. I then started putting candles on and quickly realized that I guess candles in a bookshop are probably not the best idea. Um, so I changed it out for some lamps. So this is me trying to hack the system and get them where I wanted them to be and the size I wanted them to be. And it just makes the whole area feel very cozy and friendly. So I'm just adding in more light to make it feel a lot less dark in the space. I didn't add any overhead lights, mostly because they often make it feel too bright in The Sims. So I wanted to keep it very cozy and warm in the room. So alongside the lights, I'm adding in the bits that are going to be for sale and like sale signs, because obviously it's a shop, you gotta sell something, and you can't sell the bookcases. Well, you could actually, I tell a lie. I then had to add in some more light for the display, like I did in the first build, so that when you're in nighttime, then the displays are all nice and lit up. It was quite difficult to do that with this one. So I put these strange little lights on the bottom of the walls. And then just adding the final touches and decor. I added some more sort of bright, fun elements to the kids' corner, and the leaves garlands that I put in just to go back to that like autumnal woody feel that somehow this store has, and it just makes it feel very fun and welcoming. So we're going into the reveal now. I really like the way this came out. I like the little decor that I added in, and just the way it feels quite warm and fuzzy and yeah, weirdly autumnal, which does fit with the weather outside on the game. So here we've got our sim selling an item to a really disgruntled customer. Poor girl gets very distressed by it. That's retail for you. I like the way the lights kind of make the room feel a bit brighter, with all the wood feeling. I don't know if the mix of woods really works, but that's up to you, I suppose. Yeah, and the counter in the kids corner are like my favorite parts of this whole build, I think. It just feels very fuzzy and fun, and I think I got that kind of shop around the corner aesthetic to this build. So thank you for watching this part. There are a couple more parts, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.